History loves to tell us simple stories. Heroes and villains, good and evil, black and white. But in the spirit of the Financial Historian channel, we know reality is never that simple. The real story is always hidden in gray zones, silent contracts, and unwritten agreements. Today I will talk to you about pirates. But not the romantic sea pirates you see in movies. I'm talking about the pirates used by states to keep their own hands clean, the ones who did what official armies couldn't do, and whose profits were quietly shared in the shadows. This is not a crime story. This is a story of financial engineering. In history, piracy is often presented as a collapse of the system, as if the state weakens, law disappears, chaos begins, and pirates emerge. But sources tell us the exact opposite. Piracy was not the breakdown of the system. Piracy was the system itself, just in an outsourced form. As empires grew, their problems grew as well. To protect sea routes, they needed thousands of ships, tens of thousands of soldiers, tons of weapons. This was incredibly expensive. State budgets were not enough to protect every port, every caravan, every trade route, but empires didn't want to stand idle. They wanted to disrupt their rivals' trade and weaken their economic power. And here a brilliant financial instrument emerged, the letter of marque, a piracy license issued by the state. What was this document? A piece of paper, but the signature on it turned a criminal into a national hero. The state said, "Go, loot enemy ships, seize their goods, but do it in my name. Officially, I will not be there." This was the financial engineering of violence. The state paid no salary, bought no ships, took no responsibility for dead soldiers. All risk was on private individuals. But when profits came, the state quietly took its share. In this model, the state acted like an investor but with zero risk. If an enemy sank the pirate ship, the state said, "He is not my man." If he succeeded, the state demanded its share. What do we call this today? Privatized risk, socialized profit. This model exists everywhere today, from modern banking systems to tech giants. But back then, it was called piracy. Now let me introduce you to one of history's most famous privatized pirates, Sir Francis Drake. Drake is a national hero in England. Schoolbooks describe him as a brave explorer. But for the Spaniards, he was just a pirate. Drake looted Spanish ships, seized gold convoys, burned ports. And who benefited from all this? Queen Elizabeth I. Officially, the Queen knew nothing. In official documents, Drake was an explorer, but the royal treasury was filled with his loot. The rise of the British Empire is inseparable from pirates like Drake. What is interesting here? The Queen denied everything. She said, "I never gave such an order." This was the policy of plausible deniability. If Spain complained, the Queen would say, "This man is independent. I am not responsible for his actions." But everyone at court knew this was a state strategy. It was just presented differently on paper. Where do we see this today? In modern cyber warfare. A country's energy system collapses, bank networks are paralyzed, government websites are hacked. Everyone asks, who did this? And the answer is always the same. We don't know. These are independent hacker groups. But behind the scenes, everyone knows states provide them with logistics, money, and shelter. They just officially deny it. Because international law exists. You can't attack without declaring war. But with hacker groups, you can. The violence is the same, only the tool has changed. Back then it was cannons and swords. Today it is code and servers. And the license is no longer on paper. It is hidden inside lines of code. Now let's look at the economic core of this system. Who financed pirate ships? The state? No. These ships were financed by private investors. Wealthy merchants, bankers, aristocrats put up money. Ships were bought, crews gathered, weapons purchased. If the mission failed, the money was gone. People died, no one paid compensation. But if the mission succeeded, gold, silver, silk, spices were divided among investors and the state took its percentage. What is this model called? Privatized risk, shared reward. Where do we see the same model today? In startups, in cryptocurrencies, in high-risk investments. Thousands take risks, but profits concentrate in very few hands. Modern hacker groups operate by the same logic. If they are caught, the state says they are criminals. If they succeed, the state says they are strategic assets. Status always changes based on outcome. Now a very important question arises. What is the difference between a hero and a criminal? The answer is a signature. History is full of examples. The moment a peace treaty is signed, yesterday's patriotic privateer becomes today's pirate to be hanged. The state says the war is over. We no longer need you. And yesterday's hero is executed. The same thing happens today. A hacker group is protected as long as it serves state interests. The moment it crosses the line, it is declared terrorist. The system doesn't change, only the decoration changes. Here is a bitter truth. Legitimacy is a piece of paper, and that paper is always in the hands of the powerful. Now let me take you to a bigger picture. In the past, when empires were strong, they monopolized violence. They maintained large armies, fought open wars, flags waved, cannons fired. But what did they do when they weakened? They privatized violence. Because open war is expensive, public opinion is dangerous, defeat becomes political crisis, so invisible wars began. Pirates, spies, saboteurs. Today we see the digital version of the same model. Wars happen on servers. Bank systems collapse. Energy networks shut down. Elections are interfered with. But no one declares war because everything is blamed on independent groups. And the state again says we have no connection. But behind the scenes, the planners always sit at the same table. This is the hidden war of the modern digital empire. And its financial logic has not changed. When the state is strong, it monopolizes violence. When it weakens or wants to cut costs, it privatizes it. This cycle repeats throughout history. The state navy is a giant, heavy, expensive sword. Outsourced pirates and hacker groups are poisoned daggers hidden in pockets. The sword is visible. Everyone sees it. The dagger is hidden, silent, and it never reveals its owner. History shows that even if the hand holding the dagger changes, the economic purpose of the strike remains the same: money, power, control. Now let's look at how this system becomes normalized in human consciousness. History books present pirates as romantic figures, free spirits, brave men challenging empires. But in reality, they were secret soldiers of empires. They just didn't wear official uniforms. States knew this very well. That's why a different story was told to the public. Pirates were presented as adventurers. But every step they took served political and economic goals. When a port was burned, it wasn't vandalism. It was a strike at the rival country's trade artery. When a caravan was looted, it wasn't just theft. It was economic warfare. Look at modern sanctions. What are they? Destroying an economy without officially declaring war. Pirates served the same function in history. Think about it. If an empire cannot defeat a rival in open war, what does it do? It cuts trade routes, makes ports dangerous, raises insurance costs. Merchants get scared. Goods stop moving. The economy slowly suffocates. This is exactly what cyber attacks do today. You paralyze bank systems. People can't withdraw money. Panic spreads. A market collapses in a day. A server room today is as strategic as a port. A fiber cable is as important as a trade route. Now let's see how states keep their hands clean. States always want to appear civilized. Law and order are vital for their image, but behind the curtain another game is played. The state gives permission but denies responsibility. Politically, this is genius, because international law cannot intervene. Even if other states protest, there is no official proof. Everything is presented as private initiative. Today, the same model works in cyberspace. States don't pay hacker group salaries, they don't open offices, they don't sign contracts, but they give safe zones, turn a blind eye, share information when needed. Then comes the official statement, we have no connection. This denial policy is golden. You attack without guilt. You gain profit without responsibility. Now the dark side. Pirate life was not romantic. Death risk was constant. Disease, hunger, torture. The state took no responsibility. Same for modern hackers. If operations fail, no one rescues them. Captured youths get long prison sentences. But when operations succeed, their names are never mentioned. The state gains political dividends. Now a dangerous point. This system always goes out of control. Pirates eventually want their own kingdoms. Mafia structures turn against politicians. Hacker groups build their own agendas. Yesterday's protected people become today's enemies. History repeats endlessly. Why do states take this risk? Because the alternative is more expensive. Open war costs too much. Soldier deaths create political crises. Pirate model is cheap. Risk is on others. This is like outsourcing in corporations. If something goes wrong, the company says he's not our employee. States do the same. Now, technology makes this system even cheaper. Once piracy required ships and weapons. Today a laptop is enough. A few youths can paralyze a country. States like this. Costs drop, efficiency rises, but risk grows. Loss of control leads to chaos. History proves it. States never abandon violence. They only change its form. Yesterday pirates, today hackers, tomorrow someone else. But the goal remains: weaken rivals, seize resources, control power. Now we go deeper. This is not just military, it's a financial system. How to increase power without responsibility. Privatize violence, the state wins twice. Rival weakens, state looks clean. British Empire grew rich this way. Gold and spices flowed, banks grew, stock markets formed. Modern finance stands on pirate money. Today, data and crypto stolen in cyber attacks re-enter the system. Cleaned, invested, same mechanism, new form. States cannot control this forever. Privatized violence always turns on its creator. Frankenstein effect. They know it, still choose it, because short-term profit is tempting. Official war is disappearing, too expensive, but hidden war is cheap. Anyone can wage war today. Power has never been so cheap. Information is the new weapon, invisible, borderless. Pirates and hackers are tools. The real issue is the system. Risk transferred to weak, profit centralized. Same as capitalism. Worker risks, shareholder wins. Legitimacy depends on politics. One country's terrorist is another's hero. Ethics die. Only interest matters. Modern digital empires now exist. Tech giants are more powerful than states. They control data, elections, markets. Violence now also private. Algorithm is a weapon. Piracy never ended. It changed clothes. Once sea, today internet. People normalize it. Cyber attacks no longer shock. Companies buy cyber insurance. This is dangerous. History shows violence never disappears. Losers always ordinary people. Traders, users, citizens. States stay behind. Collect profit. Big picture. Logic unchanged. State monopolizes violence when strong, outsources when weak. Hidden wars rule world. Final metaphor. State navy is a heavy sword. Hackers are poisoned daggers. Sword visible. Dagger silent. Today world ruled by daggers. Main message. History never dies. Yesterday pirate, today hacker, tomorrow new name. Logic same. Risk to weak, profit to strong. If you don't understand this, you always lose. Don't listen to what states say. Watch what they do. Follow the money. History never lies. Violence never disappears, only rebrands. Once heroism, today national security, tomorrow another name. Essence same. Strong exploit weak. You have a choice. Understand or stay in herd. This video doesn't sell fear. It shows reality. Reality changes mask, not face.